And Gerald, didn't want to be different, but Gerald, what did Gerald want to do? Can you remember what Gerald wanted to do?
He wanted to dance.
He wanted to dance, but he wasn't very good at dancing, was he? He's a bit like me. But then what happened? What happened to Gerald? What happened to Gerald? Yes?
He found out he could dance.
He could do it because he believed in it. We don't have to all dance in the same way, do we? You see people on television, they dance in different ways. And Gerald became a fantastic dancer at the end, didn't he? Now, so this week I'm doing another story about a giraffe. I seem to like giraffes, and I think it's because they're so tall and they have beautiful faces and beautiful eyes, don't they? If you ever see them at the zoo. Can I go on, darling? Yes.
My daddy likes giraffes.
Oh, we're live. What's your daddy called?
Lee.
Hi. Well, say Mr. Cunliffe like them as well. Okay, then.
I think your dad's nearly as tall as a giraffe.
Oh, is he very tall? Well, does he have very long legs, your dad? Yeah, does he? Like giraffes? And giraffes have very, very, very long legs. So, but this is about this giraffe. Isn't called Gerald, but it's really a bit of a lonely giraffe. And I'll tell you a little bit of a hint. He's lonely because he's so tall. All the other animals are so small that they have to look up, and he can't talk to them, and they can't talk to him. So they don't talk. In the end, they stop talking to him. But you listen to what happens at the end. They suddenly realise that this giraffe is a lovely giraffe who is very, very kind. Right, are you ready?
Yes.
The lonely giraffe. Are you ready? The jungle animals were really quite a friendly bunch. Every day the cockatoos were first to shake their feathers and wake up the other animals. And the elephants would trumpet, "Good morning." And the snakes would hiss, "Hello." Even the grumpy lion managed to give a friendly growl. There's all these beautiful animals here. All the animals would meet near the river for breakfast every morning to discuss the jungle news, just like when I come in here in the mornings like that, isn't it? Everyone took their turn to speak, but no one listened to the giraffe. The giraffe was just too tall. And by the time he had spread his spindly legs and lowered his head to the ground, the other animals had lost interest. So the giraffe would lift his long neck and he would wander off, very, very sad. He spent all day with his head in the trees, eating the sweetest leaves. He didn't realise that the birds and the monkeys that lived in the trees were frightened of his large head suddenly appearing in the treetops, or that the small animals on the ground ran away because they were scared of being trodden on by his big hooves. In the end, the lonely giraffe didn't bother trying to speak to anyone. He moved from tree to tree, munching on the leaves, and the jungle creatures went on avoiding him. That was how it went for the whole of the long, dry summer. I feel sorry for him, don't you? Because he's very, very lonely.
Yeah.
No one's speaking to him. Isn't that sad if that happens to him?
Yeah.
I agree. Yes, I agree. I'm on the same page as you. When the rainy season came, the large animals headed for the high ground. And the small creatures sheltered in the bushes near the river, and the monkeys took cover in the trees. The rain poured down for days and days and days, and the jungle animals became frightened that the river would burst its banks. "Don't worry," said the alligator. "I'll carry you to safety in my big, wide jaws." Do you think they like the alligator?
I think he will eat them.
Well, let's see. I think you might. What's your name?
Eli.
Eli. I have a feeling you're right, because I think this is a bit of a baddie, this alligator. Let's listen to what he said. "Don't worry," said the alligator. "I'll carry you to safety in my big, wide jaws." But the animals didn't trust him. No, neither would I. As the river rose, the jungle creatures became even more frightened. They huddled together beneath the bushes, and no one heard the distant roar until the leopard pricked up his ears. But nobody could think what it was. They hear this roar in the distance, this noise. What do you think's happening, Eli?
I think the lion's in pain.
Well, I don't think so. I think it's... What's your name?
Oh, Luca, and I think there might be a big flood
Luke, I think you're right. In fact, I saw you coming this morning, didn't I? You to school with your dad. Yes, I think, Luke, you're right. So listening to this noise in the distance, and the leopard could hear it. The giraffe looked over the heads of the animals on the ground. His big eyes widened like saucers, and he slowly bent his spotted neck until the worried creatures could hear him. The river is flooding, said the giraffe. Oh, let's start it again. The river is flooding, said the giraffe in a surprisingly squeaky voice. A wall of water is racing down the valley. I know, what a high voice. What can we do? Asked the gazelle. It's too late to run away. We'll all be drowned, squeaked the mouse, or the alligator will eat us, hissed the snake. Climb up here, called the monkey from the tree tops. The river won't reach the high branches. Hurry, squawked the cockatoo. I can see the water coming. Well, the jungle animals raced to the trees, but some of them could not climb up the slippery tree trunks. Their hooves and tails were not made for climbing. And the roaring water rushed closer, and the animals shivered with fright. Oh no, you're right, aren't you, Luca? The water's coming. And look, can you see it's like a big wave, isn't it now? Then the giraffe had an idea. He bent his knees and spoke to the animals. Climb on my back, he squeaked in his high voice. The water is almost here. The river was lapping around the creatures. The monkey jumped up the giraffe's neck and called to the others. And the hairy warthog was next to carefully climb on. And one by one, the animals helped each other to safety. So they're being kind, aren't they? They're helping each other be safe. Being friendly, aren't they? I think it's the word I'd use. Then the giraffe straightened his knees as the water flooded the jungle. He stretched up his long neck, and the last few animals hurried onto the branches, helped by the chattering monkeys. And the water washed around the giraffe's strong legs and sprayed the animals in the trees. But they were safe. Then the river rushed on. The water slowly sank back to the ground, and the sun came out from behind the clouds. And the giraffe poked his head up into the high branches, and the animals then could slide back down, back to the damp earth. Now, what do you think they thought about the giraffe now? I've asked you, haven't I? What do you think? What do you think? What do they think now? What do you think they thought about the giraffe now? Well, Callum, but it's behind as well. You first, Callum. It's me. Well, obviously we're looking for some squint. Go on then. So go on then, Callum. What do you think they thought about the giraffe now? He's really friendly, isn't he? He's been really kind and friendly, hasn't he? And what do you think? I was pointing to you as well, wasn't it? What do you think? That the giraffe's just been nice. The giraffe's been kind. It is, isn't it? So from that day on, oh, this is lovely to hear this now. From that day on, the giraffe was never lonely again. And the jungle animals would wait for the giraffe to lower his head and join in the conversation. The birds and the monkeys in the trees were no longer afraid of the giraffe's big head. And the cockatoos would find the sweetest leaves for the brave giraffe. And the elephants would trumpet, "Good morning." And the snakes would hiss, "Hello." And the grumpy lion would pretend to growl before falling asleep in the sunshine. Because actually, if no one talks to you, doesn't include you in their games, it just make you feel a bit hurt in your heart, doesn't it? Just make you feel a bit hurt, doesn't it? You've always got to listen to what people say. And if you see someone a bit lonely when they're playing out, what could you say to them? What could you say? What would you say? What would you say? Pardon?
I'll play with you.
I'll play with you, exactly. Well, would you like to come and play this game? They might say no, and that's fine, but they don't have to, do they? But you've offered. They said, come and play this game. This is going to be a good game. Well, what's your name? Have a chat to them. I know. What is your name?
Hallie.
Harry.
Hallie.
Hallie. Well, Hallie, that's very good. So you're obviously very friendly. Hands down, everybody. So thank you very much. So I'm going to say to you, because I think you've sat so nicely, that obviously all the grown-ups are working tomorrow in school, but you won't be. And then you've got 5 days after, you've got 2 days of the weekend, and you've got 5 days where you won't be coming to school. So I think you've earned it. So give yourselves a bit of a clap, don't you? And when you come back, you'll be even cleverer than you are now, won't you? So I was thinking of your age, get cleverer every day, don't you? Thank you. Right, see you folks. Cheers.